Welcome to Good Friday Praxis. My name is Ria, and I've been looking very much forward to joining you with this Good Friday practice. For me, Good Friday is so important. It's the story, together with Easter, that I base my whole life on. And for me, it's a love story. And you might ask, how can a crucifixion and torture of a human being become a love story? I mean, I ask that myself sometimes. But if you believe in the Christian story, in everything the Bible is telling us about, Jesus was the Son of God, the creator of the whole universe, the creator of the world as we know it, and the creator of you and me. And do you think that nails, human bonds, tiredness, hunger could keep the Son of God bound to do what humans wanted? No, Jesus went on the cross, went through this whole process of torture, abandonment of God, because he wanted to. Not because he was crazy, but because he wanted to, out of love for you and for me. And this is why Good Friday is a love story, even though it's horrible. In the story, in some of the evangelists' representation of the crucifixion, you will read that the curtain between the holy place and the really holy place was torn apart when Jesus died. Now that might not mean a whole lot of things to you. Now, why is that detail there? But you have to understand that throughout the whole history of the Jews, whenever they wanted to encounter with God, they went into this temple, but they were not allowed to go into the holy of the holies. That's where this curtain was, the holy and the holy of the holies. Because if they did, they would encounter with God, and that would not turn out well because God is holy. But with Christ's death on the cross, that curtain between what was holy, what is God, that distance there might have been between humans and God, that was torn apart. So now you and I have access into the Holy of Holies together to be with God. Not because I tore it apart, but because Jesus did that for me on the cross. And that is grace. I will do this practice today with just reading some of the Bible verses that happened where you encountered the story about what happened with Jesus. And in between, we'll do a little bit of practice just to get our bodies and minds settled a little bit. Wrapping up, surrendering our lives at the feet of Jesus. Join me, even though you don't maybe believe a whole lot in God. You are so welcome to join this and just see what happens. Today we'll start in mountain pose, standing hip width apart with our feet. Roll the shoulders roll a little bit back and palms facing forward. Close your eyes. Breathe. Noticing how your body feels today. Taking a deep breath and maybe sigh it out. Whatever you need to let go. If you feel comfortable, taking your hands out to the side, the cross shape, you can do that. If not, just leave your hands by your side. Maybe facing up, closing your eyes, and pray with me in your heart. Jesus, open up my body, soul, and mind for the wonders of Good Friday. I don't completely understand what happened, and maybe don't completely understand why, but I believe. And I know that I need your grace to live my life, to make sense of what is happening now. So come, Jesus, open up the text. Let me get to know you, not just know about you. Let your hands rest by your side. With eyes closed, maybe still, make a big circle, swish your hands out to the side, palms meet on top of your head, and then draw your hands down in front of your chest. Do this a few more times, maybe with the pace of your breath. Inhale, and exhale, so gather your palms. And next time you do your circles with your hands, bend your knees as you draw your hands out to the side. So bending in chair pose, lifting your hands up, getting your legs straight as your palms meet, and exhale, forward fold. Doing that again, inhale, bend your knees, draw a big circle. Palms together, forward fold, exhale. Close your eyes and do it as slowly as you can. Few more times through. Remember, as we do these poses today, you don't have to feel anything. You don't have to pray as we move around on our mat. Picture yourself standing on your mat, and that being God's love, God's grace, not that you're stepping on God's grace, but more that you're in it, surrounded by it, even though you don't consciously think about it. Let your palms meet and hands down by your side. Warming up a little bit more, standing in front of your mat, hip width apart, and then lean forward. Let your fingers reach the floor. If not, use a block, maybe bending your knees. As you inhale, take your right arm up, bending left leg, and exhale, moving into a forward fold, maybe stretching out a little bit of your legs, moving to the opposite side. Like a wave, inhale, right side, exhale, move forward. Lifting up your chest as you're going to your twist. Deep belly breath. One more time on each side. Coming into mountain pose, our last warming up poses or flows. Take one hand above you, like a circle, and the other hand beneath you, drawing kind of a circle. Inhale, move those arms around, and exhale as you get to the other direction. And just stay here, close your eyes, and breathe. Using your shoulders. And if you feel like you want to have this small flow, have a prayer involved in it. Maybe this pose, this way we move our arms mean anything to you. Welcome to make it your prayer just for a moment. And position yourself in mountain pose again. I'll read the first part. There's 5 readings. In between, we'll do a sequence, and we'll do the same sequence in between every reading. Starting with John 18. Jesus is already caught. NIV version. Pilate then went back inside the palace, summoned Jesus and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "Is that your own idea?" Jesus asked. "Or did others talk to you about me?" "Am I a Jew?" Pilatus replied. "Your own people and chief priests handed you over to me. What is it that you have done?" Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jewish leaders. But now my kingdom is from another place." "You are a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You say that I'm a king. The reason I was born and came into this world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." "What is truth?" retorted Pilate. With this he went out again to the Jews gathered there and said, "I find no basis for a charge against him. But it is your custom for me to release you one prisoner at the time of the Passover. Do you want me to release the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "No, not him. Give us Barnabas." Take your hands above your head, leaning gently back as you take your arms out again, kind of a cross pose, squeezing shoulder blades together. Straightening out your back, hands to the front of your chest, and then coming to your forward fold. Lift your right leg and move it slowly back to the back end of your mat. Crescent lunge as we get knee and ankle above each other, lifting up our hands towards the sky. Palms together, and as we did before, few circles. This time take your palms down in front of your chest and then lift them out, opening up your chest, palms together. Do this 2 more times. So the 3rd time, Your hands is in front of your chest. Let them stay there. Make sure you press your palms toward each other, have your shoulders down, and maybe coming down on one knee, twisting in low lunge. Our elbow on the inside of the knee, on the outer edge of your knee. Move your hip forward, maybe looking back, getting shoulders away from your ears. I just stay here in this twist to make sure you breathe. Release. Fingers framing the front foot and move yourself back. Straightening out your front leg, toes pointing towards heaven. And then lean forward as you stretch your hamstrings, lower back leg. Again, moving forward, hands down on the ground, taking your front left foot and move it back on your knees as you stay here, lifting up left leg, moving it back, toes on the ground, and maybe you lean that right foot back as well, lifting up, left arm opening up, either kind of a side plank or go for your small wild thing, opening up your chest. Coming back, hands underneath your shoulder, stepping your feet on the mat, downward facing dog. Always the option of staying here or doing your vinyasa, taking your plank as you inhale, either on toes or on your knees. Exhale as you lower down, elbows in by your ribs. Inhale as you lift up your chest. Cobra, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Exhaling. Heels sink towards the mat, and maybe you choose a bend in your knee. Walking to the front end of your mat again, or if you have your practice to jump, that's what you do. Forward fold, mountain, high mountain, hands up. And repeating the sequence on the other side, lifting, back bending, arms out, opening up. Straight spine, hands move forward, forward fold. Left leg moves behind you, ever so gently. Crescent lunge, arms up. Go for a smaller distance in between your leg if you need to. Always a nice option. Palms together, hands down in front of your chest. 3 big circles. Inhale. And exhale as you pull your palms down. One last time. Maybe lowering down your left back knee, taking your twist opposite direction of before. Always the option of going for the inside of your knee if twisting is not that easy. Thumbs towards your chest somewhat. Moving back as before, framing the foot, straightening out the front leg. Always option of moving that front leg further forward, leaning forward. Breathing deeply. Once again, bending front knee. This time, our right leg moves back. behind us, and even more behind us as we open up our chest as before, side plank, or this version where you lift up your hip, opening up everything, standing here vulnerable. Back, downward facing dog. Vinyasa if you want to. Take a break in child's pose if you need to. If you do your vinyasa, inhale, plank. Lower down, straight spine if you can. Inhale, lifting your chest. Make your hips stay on the floor if you need to do a cobra. Downward facing dog. Lifting your hip a little bit further away from your hands. Feeling it on the back of your legs. Walk or jump to the front end of your mat. Forward fold, exhale. Mountain pose again. Palms facing forward. Close your eyes and just listen. Make it picturing what is happening here. John 19. Then Pilate took Jesus and had him flogged. The soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head. They clothed him in a purple robe and went up to him again and again, saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they slapped him in the face. Once more Pilate came out and said to the Jews gathered there, "Look, I'm bringing him out to you to let you know that I found no basis for a charge against him." When Jesus came out, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe, Pilate said to them, "Here is the man." As soon as the chief priests and their officials saw him, they shouted, "Crucify! Crucify!" Again, hands above your head, repeating our sequence. Exhale as you move back, opening up your chest, and take a breath. Mountain pose, hand in front of you, and fold forward. Right leg moves back. Crescent lunge, letting go of the floor with your hands when you're ready. Palms together in front of you. Inhale, big circle, gathering the story, the horror. Option of lowering down back, knee, twisting. Right elbow, the outer edge or inner edge of your thigh. Lifting your chest a little bit higher, moving your hips forward. Framing your foot, moving yourself back. Runner stretch. Again, walking a little bit forward. Right leg moves behind you, crossing. Right leg moving back. As before, side plank, or opening up your chest, lifting up your hip. Move it back and move slowly. Downward facing dog. Vinyasa, if you like it. Inhale, plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting your chest. Exhale, downward facing dog. Again to the front end of your mat. Fold forward, exhale. High mountain, inhale. Repeating the sequence on our left side, but first our back bend, exhale. One breath. Palms forward, straight spine, forward fold. Left leg moves behind you. Again, crescent lunge. Palms together in front of your chest. Opening up, using your shoulder blades. Huge inhale. And exhale. One last time. Lowering down if you want to. Twisting. Palms somewhat squeezed together. Shoulders moving apart from each other so we don't squeeze them together in front. Moving to our hamstring stretch, framing the foot once again, leaning forward, toes pointing up. Maybe you can feel you can go a little bit lower now. Walk your hand to the front end of your mat. Right leg moves back, somewhat behind you. Open up right hand and chest. Make this pose a silent, wordless prayer. Back on all fours or downward facing dog. Option of vinyasa. Inhale. Lowering down, exhale. Lifting your chest, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. This time, coming to your plank, and then down on your belly. Maybe stacking your hands and let your forehead reach down on your hands and relax here as I read a third part. Close your eyes. It's from Luke 23. Then they came to the place called the Skull. They crucified him there along with the criminals, one of it on his right and the other on his left. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at him. They said, "He saved others. Let him save himself if he is God's Messiah, the chosen one. The soldiers also came up mocking him. They offered him wine vinegar and said, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." Take your hands down by your side, palms facing up. Squeezing your root locked together and lifting up your chest, lifting up your hands, and if you want to do a little bit more, you can lift up your legs. Shoulder blades engaged as you pull them together. And release. Let your hands move a little bit forward, front of your shoulders. Take an inhale, lift up your chest, baby cobra, and maybe look on top of your left shoulder. Pulling your shoulder blades down. Coming back and slowly chest on your mat. Let's do that the opposite side as well. You can follow your breath. Inhale, you should lift up. And exhale as you lower down. Do this a few more times. Try to use your core, your back, and not just lifting through your hands only. One more time. And maybe you have done a full circle, meaning even lifts on each side. Take your hands underneath your shoulders or armpits, moving into tabletop. Option of folding your mat if your knees want you to do that. Your navel all the way to your spine as you do into your cat pose. Chin towards your chest. And letting go. Camel pose before we read another part of our Good Friday story. So come up on your knees. There's lots of options also if you have a back that doesn't allow you to go for deep back bends. So take your hands behind you. Make sure you tuck under your toes, at least if you're not used to this. And lean back. And you can always stay here and watch out for your back, especially your lower back. If you feel like there's more space, lean further back, lifting up your chest in the sense of leaning back, making space between your shoulder blades, and maybe one or both hands can reach for your ankles, make your hips somewhat above your knees. Maybe letting go of your head, maybe just holding your head. Make sure you breathe. We wrap this up. Take your hands behind you, come up evenly, so don't move from side to side. And maybe take the top of your head down into your mat. Take your hands behind you again, pulling your heels or taking a hold of your heels, lifting up your spine. Almost like pulling in your hands, holding your foot or your ankle. and let go. Sitting down on your mat, the sole of the feet together, we call this butterfly. Maybe opening up your feet if that's in your practice. You're welcome to take your feet further away. The idea is that you let your legs relax, knees out to the side, and if you can take a hold of your feet and move yourself a little bit forward, try to do that. You'll maybe feel it in your lower back as well. Relax your legs, calm your body, your breath, and try to find a place and a stretch that you somehow can feel, but you can also stay here for a few moments as I read the fourth part. And at 3 p.m, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani." This means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" Then some of those standing near this, they said, "Listen, he's calling Elijah." Someone ran, filled up a sponge with wine vinegar, put it on a staff, and offered it to Jesus to drink. "Now leave him alone. Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down," he said. Release your pose. Take your right leg and maybe even your left leg a little bit further in front of you. Right leg, then the sole of the feet and the outer edge of your left thigh. Make sure your sitting bones are not completely lifted in one side, but moving back and down as much as you can. Left hand, either take a hold of your knee, or if you want to go for a deeper twist as you move your shoulders behind you on the outside of your knee. Pulling right shoulder back, using right hand behind you to kind of lift up your spine so you don't arch around your back. And even looking back if you want to. Letting go. Doing this spinal twist on the opposite direction. Right knee down on the mat somewhat. Left knee points towards the sky. If you have any issues here in your knees, you can always straighten out that leg. Maybe that's easier for you. Holding or elbows on this side. Erecting your spine towards heaven and moving your shoulders, or at least left shoulder behind you. Letting go. Take your legs forward. Maybe you choose a small bend in your knees. We're gonna lean forward. And if you feel like you wanna stretch your hamstrings, go for as straighten out legs as possible. If you feel like, I wanna go into my lower back, then bend your knee even further and then lean forward, so you can choose. Taking a hold of your legs, or if you can reach your feet, just do that. Just kind of leads the way as you lean forward. Relaxing your legs. See if you can lean a little bit more forward. Like you're melting down on your legs. Moving back. Finding a somewhat comfortable position, seated. And let me read the last part that I chose for today from Luke 23. It was now about noon, and darkness came all over the whole land until 3 p.m, for the sun stopped shining. And the curtain of the temple was torn into two. Jesus called out with a loud voice, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." In John, Jesus also said, "It is finished." It is finished. When he had said this, he breathed his last. I would invite you to come into child's pose now. Maybe picturing yourself kneeling down in front of the cross, if that makes sense to you, or in front of love. If your knees can't do this pose, just come down on your belly. It's just as fine. Forehead on the ground, and I would suggest that you take your palms and face them upwards, laying down. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Maybe you want to say the same words. Surrendering. Surrendering your body, health. Surrendering your plans, dreams and hopes. Surrendering your loved ones. Surrendering everything that is holding you back from saying, "Into your hands, God, I commit my spirit." And this will be our last part of our session today. So I would invite you to stay here. If you're done, coming down on your into your resting pose on your back. And maybe having that image of the crucifixion as a symbol of love that Christ chose this path to set us free, give us purpose and meaning. He didn't have to. Easter is the celebration of victory, that death, sickness, illness, coronavirus doesn't have the final say in our lives. And I look forward also to sharing, at least the Monday after, a video with you celebrating Easter and the victory. God's peace to you.